Hello, friends, and welcome. My name is Popeye, and today we're playing some more Steins Gate. Last time, we went after Moeka, who had the only D-mail that we ourselves did not send that we wanted to get rid of. We found out she commits suicide, went back in time to before she commits suicide to find her staring at her phone waiting for FB, also known as Facebook, to contact her, who is her boss, and her boss hasn't contacted her in, I think it's like 10 days or something. We basically assault her and strangle her until we take her phone, find out that her D-mail was not to change her phone, but in fact to find out where the IBN 5100 is so that she could take it. We tried to undo that message, but we failed, and now we think the only way to do that is to send it as if we are FB, because that's the only person she seems to trust. And yeah, I think that about covers it. So yeah, with that, it's now after we've gotten this information out of her. We're near the coin lockers, which is where FB picks up the IBN 5100 after Moeka gets it, and I guess we'll see what we do next. It's midnight, Akiba is practically empty. Silence is eerie. There's no sign of anyone near the coin locker. Considering the IBN 5100 size, it couldn't fit in the regular size lockers. She must have put it in one of the 3 large lockers on the right. The bottom locker is still in use. Is the IBN 5100 inside? My heart starts pounding in my chest. I feel my face grow hot with excitement. We've been apart for far too long, my partner, but now only a thin locker door separates us. Is this what love feels like? How's my internet doing? Not super hot. Could be better. Why, internet? Why? What? Yeah, I can see that there's problems with my internet. Let me see if I can fix them. Okay, that seems a lot better. Okay, just give that one more second just to see if that dips down. Okay, it's not going into concerning levels for me, so I think that's fine now. Nope. No. Gosh dang it, internet. Why? Okay. Ooh, this is bad. This... Okay. Let me know if it gets bad again. Basically, just to tell you what I'm seeing on my end, basically what I'm seeing on my end is that OBS goes from what I'd expect to be like a normal rate and bandwidth to very low and then to 0. And then, like, basically repeating that cycle. Like, now it's fine. Now it's back to 0. I have like 50% dropped frames? That's horrible. No, you didn't jinx it. Maybe some maids will help. Let's see if they will clean up my internet. My computer itself doesn't seem like it's using it. Could just be everyone's home for the holidays and that the internet in my neighborhood sucks. It wasn't sucking earlier today, it only sucks now. Actually, that's not true. It sucked this morning, but all I had to do was unplug and replug in my access point. That fixed that. Okay. Looking... It's looking better. Okay, I think we just have to roll with it. If it gets too bad, if it gets unbearable, we'll have to, I guess, just stop, but we're back up now where I'd expect it to be. But yeah, to answer your question, how was my Christmas? Christmas was good. Obviously, it's a bit different than normal Christmases. Yeah, overall good. Like, got to talk to family over the phone. Had one group of family, aunt, uncle, and their kid just come and like wave from the porch, so that we were all safely distanced. Yeah, overall it was good. Okay. Let me know if it gets bad again. Thank you for that. I haven't seen it drop to 0, so hopefully that's a good sign. Alright, sorry for that delay. We will hopefully continue, and hopefully it won't be too bad. I forced myself to consider the situation calmly. Is the IBN 5100 really inside? I want to check right this instant. Can't believe I forgot to ask Moeka which locker she used. Should I get a crowbar? Something to pry the locker open? The IBN 5100 really is inside and I steal it. What'll happen to the world line? I've yet to cancel all the D-mails, which I thought was the only way to restore the original world line. Now, the IBN 5100's so close, why can't I just reach out and take it? I know how to cancel Moeka's D-mail, so I can always do that if this doesn't work. Let's try it, just to make sure. First, I make a quick visit to the lab. Ignoring the complaints of the lab mems, who stayed awake in the lab all night, I retrieve a makeshift crowbar from the development room. A crowbar is already basically just a piece of metal, like, curved at the ends. What is a makeshift crowbar? It's like a metal pipe. Then, I return to the lockers and thrust the pointed tip of the crowbar into the crack of the door. Just as I begin to pry, shrill siren shatters the night. I look up to see the red lights of a patrol car coming this way. That's why I want to know, what is a makeshift crowbar? Their timing couldn't be worse. The police released me after about 30 minutes of scolding. I return to the coin locker and try to pry it open again. Immediately another patrol car appears. This time they take me to the police station. I'm stuck in an interrogation room all night, getting preached to by policemen. I conclude that this is another effect of attractor field convergence. No matter what I do, I cannot obtain an IBN 5100 on this world line. That is what fate has decreed. Next time, just use a real crowbar. I get the police to call my father, and they finally release me. They didn't go so far as to arrest me, but the policemen, as well as my father, scold me harshly, as does Samus's. I act apologetic, but in actuality, their words fall on deaf ears. After my father goes home, I head straight to Moeka's apartment. I tried calling her. I took the opportunity to memorize her phone number yesterday, but she wouldn't pick up at all. You know what we should have done? We should have changed in her address book us to be FB. And then any messages or phone calls from us would come through as FB, and then she would pick up in the future. Not that that would work for the D-mail, but it would work in situations like this. Before I get there, I send a mail to Daro asking him to check if the coin locker is still occupied. The door to Moeka's apartment is unlocked. I mean, you screwed up the door, guys. I don't think that door's locking anytime soon. I find Moeka hugging her knees in the corner, just like she was when I first found her.
IBN 5100を入れたのは右下のコインロッカーで合っているか？
なぜ
IBN 5100が入る大きさのロッカーはあそこには3つしかなかった。そのうち一番下のみが使用中。
Daru. Found it. Check. The big locker in the lower right is in use. What's this about anyway? Don't make me your errand boy so early in the morning, fool. Apparently 10 o'clock is early for Daru. You really want to make a visual novel, but you need a story to tell. Yeah, visual novels really need a good story. Yeah. Because there's nothing else. There's no gameplay, really. Well, I guess some can nowadays. You can do it without sound. I guess it also needs good visuals, good characters and backgrounds, but story, I would say, is the number one thing you need.
もしお前が一番下に入れたというなら FB はまだ IBN 5100を回収していないことになる。
But you can use them to you can use visual novel makers to make other games. I remember I was fooling around with Ren'Py and built the base for a simulation kind of game at one point. What's the game I'm thinking of that it's similar to? Name of the game's not coming to me, but it's Chem something, and basically you have a bunch of little chemistry things that you put on, and you're trying to join the elements together to make whatever is needed for export. And I started working on something similar to that at one point.
この意味がわかるか？
Moeka frowns.
あそこに貼っていれば
I don't know if I'd recommend it, but it's possible.
会えるということだ。
I considered using it to make an Ace Attorney clone, but it would have been much more effort to modify the engine that much. Yeah.
その発想はなかったか？ラウンダーのくせに。
Yeah, because when it comes down to it, Ace Attorney is, besides menus and stuff, is basically you have point and click during your investigations, and then select stuff and react to it. Not a super hard engine to make.
俺は張り込んでみようと思う。
In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if there's an engine designed to do exactly that. Or something more similar.
会ってどうするの？
FB に携帯を借りる。
It's the best way to prevent Moeka from going to Yanabayashi Shrine.
会えない。会う勇気ない。幻滅される。
You just use Godot? Yeah, I was looking at, because I've also wanted to make a game for... My camera's a little bit high, let's pull that down just a little bit. I've also wanted to make a game at some point in my life. I've looked at a couple different engines. Currently the one I'm looking at is Game Maker Studio. I found that the first one, not the second one, not the newer one, but the first one's free to download, so I downloaded it and was playing around with it last week. Just making like an old school NES Legend of Zelda clone, just following a tutorial on YouTube. And it seems pretty good. I might go with it if I ever decide to do anything.
お前はとっくに幻滅されているか。最初から期待すらされていなかった。
And I had an idea at one point, and I shared it with a couple people, and the people I shared it with thought it was a good idea. I just have not committed to doing anything for it, and I wouldn't want to start something to not commit to it and just like fail, because then I'd feel like if I did that, it like having a bad start is just not encouraging to finishing a project. Moeka's face contorts again. I'm being blunt, not only because Moeka is Mayuri's murderer, but also because Moeka's weakness is starting to get on my nerves. Just like Daru's mail set, the locker is still occupied when I get there. I'll look around to make sure there are no patrol cars. No crowbars this time. I don't feel like getting arrested. I head across the street to Daibiru, hide behind one of its humongous pillars, and begin the stakeout. Hides your 15 unique projects? Yeah, like right now, I think... I'm just trying to think of like projects I have on the go. I have one. I wanted something a bit more artsy. So I started just making character outlines in Inkscape, which is the same program I use to make my Twitch profile icon. And I started on that, and I did a little bit of it, but I just haven't been in an art mood recently. But that's been like my current project, is I just wanted to try getting like 1 or 2 characters done in like a simple design, but just drawing over existing characters and just removing some of the details and making it like a simpler design. But yeah, I guess it's a bit different for like coding stuff. Being a software developer, I know a lot of software developers who will work like 9 to 5 and then come home and code on their own personal projects. I can't do that. My mind just needs a break after I've been coding for like 8 to 10 hours a day. To come back home and like code for another like 3 or 4 hours at home, my brain just can't do it. So I need some kind of plan or way to do it, or at least for it to be different enough from what I do at work that it doesn't feel like more work to me. My legs are getting tired. I was going to borrow Mayuri's portable game console, but I decided I didn't need the distraction. Still, it's pretty tough to keep standing like this. I also need to stay inconspicuous. Someone might notice me if they see me standing in the same place for hours. I wouldn't want a security guard to give me trouble. I mean, I guess there's not much worry about that. I've already been here for 7 hours without incident. If you've been there for 7 hours, I think you're fine. I once was in like a train station where I live, and I was waiting for my fiance, then girlfriend, to arrive, and her train got delayed. Well, first her work got delayed, and then her train got delayed. So I was waiting there, and it can't have been for like more than an hour. And within an hour, like the security guard already came up to me and like, "Hey, you can't be here for like more than 20 minutes. And I'm like, okay. So then I just like wandered around the street until she called me like that she was on her way. But like, if this dude can do 7 hours, I think he's fine. My legs are numb, so I squat and lean against the pillar. Why weren't you doing that for the first 7 hours? So hungry. Love to go get some food, but I can't take my eyes off the locker. Just then, somebody taps me on the shoulder. FB? Try to leap to my feet, but my legs get tangled and I fall over. Also, it's just Moeka. Moeka is standing there, looking down at me with those glassy eyes.
お前なんでここに
私も張り込みをダメかな
なぜ心変わりした
I stand up and dust off my
お
clothes.
前は FB とのメールだけの関係に居心地の良さを感じていたその適度な距離感に依存していたはずなのになぜ今さら一歩を踏み出そうと思った
このままじゃ
Moeka puts her head on her knees. She looks ready to cry. I've seen that expression once before in her moonlit apartment.
FB からの連絡がなくなったら私世界とのつながりが
断絶されるか
Moeka nods
孤
faintly.
独に耐えられないくらい弱いのに FB の命令さえあれば容赦なく人も殺せるとはな典型的な狂信者だよお前は
And her cult leader, FB, abused her weakness before throwing her out like old clothes. Pisses me off. FB's cruelty, Moeka's weakness. Can't decide which I hate more. Then, Moeka nervously brings out a convenience store bag.
なんだこれは
Instead of answering, Moeka looks away. I look inside.
おおパックの牛乳とアンパン
Exactly what you need on a stakeout. Enough for 2. Also, I just realized, he's been here for 7 hours. I would need the bathroom probably after like 5 or 6. So I hope he's gonna... I hope he can stay here for, you know, like another 10 hours. Probably not good for your kidneys. It's enough for 2.
もしかして差し入れか
Moeka nods.
よし許可するお前も張り込みを手伝え
Now we can take turns watching. We'll also look less suspicious to passers-by. You've never pulled 12 hours with no bathroom? I'm sure I have. Probably. But it's been a long time. Night draws on, and still no sign of FB. We nap in 1-hour shifts, but it doesn't help the exhaustion. Multi-Dark Samus used this command? Suspicious. 3 people have seemed suspicious. I'm pretty sure all of them are you. I didn't even test that command, I just assumed it worked and let you try it. On top of that, I don't have anyone to talk to. Moeka can't keep a conversation going, so there's nothing I can do to stave off boredom. Went back to the lab to shower just before dawn, but Krisu, who was working an all-nighter on the time leap machine, just glared at me. The wait finally ends, at just after 1 p.m. on the 13th. Someone comes to open the lower right locker. We watch from behind the pillar. Nondescript, middle-aged man. He's dressed in a new suit. It hangs rather poorly on him, as if he's not used to wearing it.
あいつが FB か
I Okay. Gosh dang it, Internet. Why are you so bad today? Okay, Internet looks like it's back. If that happens one more time, I think we're gonna have to cut it. It's not fair to you guys if the Internet just keeps going out. Try keeping that open too. Missed a decent chunk of stuff there. Okay, let's go back through the dialogue. Okay. I'll probably go further back than I need to, but Moeka arrives with a bag of food. We both spend time on lookout. We eventually go back just before dawn. It's probably like 5 a.m. to go back and shower and stuff at the lab. Christina's there. She glares at us. They take 1 hour shifts of napping while the other person watches. And at 1 p.m. the next day, a middle-aged man in a new suit, arrives and opens the locker. There we go. The last year it was I didn't... Yeah, so I was saying... I hate you, Internet. Okay. So I was saying I didn't actually check the suspicious command. I just assumed it would work and let you try it. Alright. So we have a man checking out the locker. Let's see if this is FB. Moeka shakes her head firmly.
FB は女性よ。
となると雇われて回収しに来た人間かもしれない。
Or it could be someone from the locker company here to clear it after weeks overdue. That would make us all idiots. Moeka, FB, and me. The man has the key to the locker. Pays the late fee with 100 yen coins, then removes the cardboard box with the IBN 5100 inside. The man thought ahead and brought a push cart. He puts the IBN 5100 onto the push cart, a bit of effort, and begins walking away.
Oh,
The men head straight for Akihabara Station. Strangely enough, he walks up to an overweight man standing in front of the ticket machine. The overweight man is wearing a t-shirt, has all the signs of being an otaku. Doesn't seem to have anything in common with the first guy. He looks like an average salary man. They transfer the IBN 5100 into the overweight man's suitcase. After they exchange a few words, the overweight man enters the station alone. Then the guy in the suit leaves.
妙だな。
What was the purpose of that transfer? The overweight man, FB? Or is he just another link in some kind of chain? At any rate, if we keep following the IBN 5100, we should reach FB eventually. We enter the station. The overweight man boards the Yamanote line. We board on the next car and keep watch through the connecting door. It's a weekday afternoon, so there aren't many passengers. 30 minutes later, we arrive at Shinjuku Station. Here, the train sees a sharp increase in passenger traffic that we don't want to actually draw. Moeka pulls on my sleeve. The overweight man has slipped into the stream of departing passengers. He's about to exit onto the platform. We follow him, but due to our slow reaction, we have to push our way through the boarding passengers. The train doors close and it slowly departs. The man starts walking towards the exit. Yes, that is quite impressive. Shinjuku is crowded, so I have to follow close behind or we'll lose him. But then, I stop in my tracks. The man is empty-handed. His suitcase is missing. What? For a second, I think we followed the wrong man, but no, it's definitely him. We watched him the whole time he was on the train. There's no doubt he had the suitcase when the train arrived in Shinjuku. Did he have passed it to someone else in the crowd? They know how to lose a tail. We redo the chase scene. I return to the lab and leap an hour back. Find myself inside the train. I know it's bad manners to use my phone on the train, but this is an emergency. According to the train's display, we're about to leave Otsuka for Ikebukuro, 3 stops to Shinjuku. Moeka is next to me, acting inconspicuous. I peek at the overweight man in the next car.
駅で仕掛けてくるぞ。あの男、降りたと見せかけて荷物を別の人間に受け渡す。さっきはまんまと引っかかった。
さっき
Doesn't look like Moeka's caught on yet.
俺は1時間後からタイムリープしてきたんだ。
I assume the sudden time leap was he went back to the lab and then time leaped back. Yeah.
タイムリープ
And that they didn't feel like they needed to put that context in this late in the game. Especially if he's going to have to time leap back like 6 times to actually follow this briefcase. Moeka's eyes widen. The train arrives at Shinjuku on schedule. Just to make sure, I'll have Moeka follow the man when he gets off. Before the doors open, I stealthily move to his car. He still has the suitcase with the IBN 5100.
Shinjuku.
Doors open and passengers spew out. The overweight man leaves too, just like last time. However, he leaves the suitcase on the train. And now, passengers from Shinjuku board. Someone walks up to the abandoned suitcase. It's a woman in her 30s pushing a baby stroller. There's no baby. The woman casually loads the suitcase into her stroller and sits down. After witnessing that scene, I return to the neighboring car. I need to be careful. These guys are serious about avoiding pursuit. How would you feel if you're just like walking down the street and there's like a woman pushing like a baby stroller and you like, you know how sometimes you like look inside just to see what the baby looks like because babies can be cute, and you just see like a giant piece of luggage. Like, oh, no, okay. Hope the baby's not inside that. The train starts moving. I contact Moeka so we can regroup later. After that incident, the packages swaps couriers like a hot potato, snaking around the tracks that run through Tokyo like a web. Whenever they give me the slip, I time leap and resume the chase. Finally, the courier and package get aboard the Hibiya line and return to Akihabara Station, where it all began. I recognize the last courier. He's one of the men who raided the lab with Moeka. Dark skin, crew cut, the one who hit me with his gun. The man easily carries the 25-kilo package out of the station. We follow. A car honks its horn. Moeka and I immediately hide. Peering out from cover, I see a white flatbed parked in front of the station. A muscular man hops out of the driver's seat. I know that face. No, it can't be. I desperately try to organize my thoughts. That's Noji Yugo, owner of Braun Tube Workshop. Mr. Braun. Why? Why is he here? Does that mean he's connected to FB? To the Rounders? Is the Braun Tube Workshop just a front for CERN? Is that how he could afford to keep it open? What's going on here? His shop is right below the lab. He's working for the enemy, then. I shiver at the thought. Stop. Let's not rush to conclusions. It might just be another courier. We watch from a distance. Noji takes the suitcase from the crew-cut man, loads it into the back seat of his car. Then he gets into the car alone and takes off towards Showadori. I stare after it in disbelief. I time leap several hours to before the first man arrived at the coin locker. Then I explain the situation to Moeka. Our plan is to get ahead of the package. After killing some time at Starbucks, we rent a car. I don't have a license, so Moeka is driving. We go to the street in front of the roundabout, facing Showadori, parked near Yodobashi Camera. Now, we wait.
緊張しているのか。肩に力が入りすぎているぞ。運転歴はどれぐらいだ。
ペーパー。
First time.
ペーパーって、ペーパードライバーということか。勘弁してくれ。事故るなよ。
Surprised Moeka had a license in the first place. Apparently FB told her it would come in handy for her rounder work. I have Moeka wait in the car while I keep a lookout on the roundabout. The white station wagon's already stopped there. This distance, I can clearly see Tanoji in the driver's seat. Nobody else is riding. The crew cut guy should arrive just after 5 p.m. As expected, the crew cut man arrives right on time, effortlessly dragging the suitcase behind him. Feels weird seeing the exact same scene from a different angle. I hurry back to the car where Moeka is waiting. The station wagon rolls past us, takes a left turn at Showadori intersection towards Okachimachi. Moeka smoothly sets the car in motion. Finally, we arrive at Tanoji's house in Okachimachi. This is the house where Suzuha lived. Her rusty old mountain bike is still sitting out in front. Tanoji brings the IBN 5100 inside. Stop a little farther down the road and keep watch.
どういうこと？ FB はどこ？
あの家に運び込んだことが何を意味するかだ。一時的な保管場所ということなのか、それとも。
Is he FB? Does he know FB? Moeka insists that FB is a woman. Maybe it's Noji's wife, whom I've never met. I have Moeka show me one of FB's mails. And this is from, April 23rd. Quite a while back, like 4 months back. Sorry for not being useful. M4, which I assume is Moeka's codename. M for Moeka and then 4 for the 4 letters after the M, I'm guessing. It's true that you're not very good with people, but I think that's just part of what makes you unique and special. Besides, you have no trouble talking to me, do you? Honestly, M4, there's nobody else who works as hard as you do. I'm very grateful for that. I'm glad you joined the Rounders. Even if nobody else values you, I'll always look out for you. Feel free to email me whenever you like. Oh yes, since you're finally in Nagoya, You should try some of the local delicacies. It's not good for your health to keep eating convenience store food. Or do you not like miso, M4? In any case, a girl your age needs to eat better. I recommend the firm miso stew. Your next mission is to go to Akihabara in Tokyo. Let's find an apartment by next week. I deposited a special bonus in your account, so feel free to use it. Talk to you soon, your mother, FB. She's kept a lot of mails archived like this one.
M4 というのが私のコードネーム。それも FB がつけてくれた。
Moeka's a mailing machine. She sent FB nearly 10 mails a day, but FB replied to every single one. You have to be a saint to reply to all those emails. No wonder Moeka was so dependent on FB.
今度はここで張り込みだな。
Habdar set up a wireless infrared camera on the telephone pole down the street. Park a couple blocks away and watch the video feed. Next day, Noji goes to work on his moped like usual, returns after sunset. There's no sign of his daughter, Nae, or his wife. Something finally happens early Sunday morning. Just before 3 a.m., 6 people show up at Tenoji's house. It's dark, but I recognize them. They're the Rounders who raided the lab with Moeka. He said 6 people, there's only 5 of them. I guess the last one is FB? Moeka doesn't show much of a reaction. I thought she knew them. I asked, but she says she's never met them before. Looks like this World Line's Moeka has been cut off completely. Were they done with her once she found them in IBN 5100? Noji comes outside and loads the IBN 5100 onto the station wagon. Then, the 6 men get in and drive away. So there's 6 of them, and they're all men. Tenoji sees them off, then goes back inside his house.
今度はどこへ？
I'm interested in Tenoji's story. The IBN 5100 will lead us to FB. We decide to follow the station wagon. The pursuit ends at Narita International Airport. The 6 men, IBN 5100 in tow, board a plane headed for France. France, CERN's home country. Except it's Switzerland in real life, I'm pretty sure, like 99% sure. What does this mean?
天王寺の妻が FB の可能性がある。
Since there's been no sign of FB this far, he must be an extremely cautious individual, but the evidence suggests only one possibility. On Worldline Alpha 1, Moeka's men attacked the night the Time Leap machine was completed. Timing was perfect. It makes sense if you assume that Tenoji is closely linked to FB. He was right downstairs the whole time we were discussing our plans. FB knew exactly what we were up to. We were dancing to her tune all along. When we get back to Akiba, Moeka and I start walking towards Tenoji's house. On the way, I get an angry call from Chrissy demanding an update, so I decide to take care of that first. And I'll immediately ignore her and read this email from Mayuri. Subject, Orion. I saw Orion last night. It was really pretty. I hope we were looking up at the same time. Then it would be like we were close by even if we were really far away. Stars are romantic if you think like that, aren't they? We have 1 reply, so we're going to take it. Yeah, I saw it too. First night in a while I've had time to look at the stars. I don't think it was Orion. That's a winter constellation. Chrissy sighs when she sees me.
あんたね、少しは連絡したらどうなの？
ずっと立て込んでいたのだ。
立て込んでたね。
Chrissy glances at Moeka.
もしかして心配していたのか？
私じゃないわよ。私は別にあんたがどこで何をしてようが知ったことじゃないけど。ただ、まゆりはすごく心配してた。 見てて痛々しいぐらいにね。せめてあの子にだけは連絡してあげなさいよ。
Now that she mentions it, feels like I haven't talked to my Yuri in forever. Can I actually call her? Is that something I can do? No. Actually, let me pull up my little cheaty board here. We only actually have one last option before the end of this chapter.
すべてはマユリを救うため。敵の正体がもうすぐ分かりそうなんだよ。
というか敵って。
Krisu glances at Moeka again. Moeka is completely expressionless. She's lightly kicking the dirt in boredom. She hasn't used her phone once since we began the search for FB.
彼女は敵じゃないの？
That's not true. She used it once to show us an email from FB.
敵だが真実を求めるため協調体制をとっている。
マユリを殺す人なんでしょ？
そうだ。
You made a game. What have you made, Samuses? However, Moeka is just a pawn, and one that no longer poses a threat. To save Mayuri, I need to capture the king. Well, the king's cell phone.
まあいい。それでこれからどこか行くんでしょ？私もついていく。
正気か助手よ。
正気だけど助手じゃないから。
危険かもしれないぞ。
Krisu falters for a moment, but quickly tightens her expression.
今日の私は死ぬことになってる。
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that meme, unfortunately. I stopped really paying attention to memes at the end of university, for the most part. I've experienced the future, so I know who dies today.
いや、お前は死なない。
だったら問題なし。世界から死なないことを保証された
Oh,
よう
it's
なもの。
specific to a certain community? Then yeah. Right, Krisu doesn't die today. Neither does Mayuri. The only person who dies today is Kiryu Moeka. This afternoon, she kills herself. I've already told Moeka her fate. But in spite of that, Moeka doesn't seem upset, at least on the surface. She's expressionless as always. The only difference is she's not checking her phone as often. But Moeka is not a strong woman. Beneath that expressionless mask, is she struggling against the fear of death? I decide to confront Tenoji directly. I have Krisu stand guard outside the house while Moeka and I go inside. Not that we're planning to break in. We ring the doorbell like honest citizens. Like honest citizens, implying that we are not, in fact, honest citizens. Tenoji soon opens the door and invites us into the living room. The Virgin's meter is sitting in its usual spot. I glance at the numbers. 0.523307%. There's still a long way to go before I reach 1%. How much more of this can I take?
よく来てくれたな。
Now, I'm just thinking back. Tenoji once told us that he in fact grew up elsewhere, and I think he said his French is perfect. And where is CERN? In France. At least in this game. It's just after dawn, much too early for guests, but Tenoji welcomes us with a smile. He even starts preparing some instant coffee.
ずいぶん早起きなんですね、ミスター・ブラウン。
まあな。苗の学校の時間に合わせてるから、基本的に早起きなんだよ。今夏休み中だが、もう習慣になっちまってる。
お嬢さんはまだ寝ているんですか？
うっせえ！苗のこと聞き出してどうするつもりだ？寝込みを押そうとしたらマジで殺す！
しませんよ。
More interested in his wife, Still no sign of her. Did she sleep too? Could she be hiding somewhere? I'd like to do a thorough search of the house, but of course that's impossible. And there's what he said just now about seeing Nae off to school. That sounded like something a single father would say. I suspected that FB was Tenoji's wife. That may have been a mistake. Maybe Tenoji's just another courier after all. Maybe he doesn't even know about FB. There's the possibility that FB might not even be an Akiba. I need answers. How do I get them? Moeka's just staring at the floor. I can't count on her for any bright ideas. Whether or not Tenoji's wife is FB, I don't think this man will fall for any tricks. I decide to go for the direct approach.
数時間前この家の前に6人の男が集まりとあるものを持ってフランスに渡ったそのことについて当然ご存知ですね
This time, Tenoji doesn't give me his usual macho attitude, just smiles softly.
それが
IBN5100 あなたは知っているはずだ
幻のレトロ PC だろ
This is too easy. He's never this cooperative.
あなたは何者だ
I mean, he also has arms that look like they could just, like, punch us through the walls of this house.
ラウンダーか
Instead of answering my question, Tenoji looks straight at Moeka.
おめえは裏切ったのか M4
Moeka jerks upright. M4 is Moeka's code name, something only FB should know.
もしかして FB
Tenoji laughs once, a dry sound.
フェルディナント・ブラウンって知ってるか
Moeka and I look at each other, confused by the sudden change of topic. It's not sudden if you look at the initials.
おいおいブラウン管を発明したノーベル物理学賞の偉人だぞ
Tenoji has a thing for brawn tubes, I know that. What does that have to do with anything?
フェルディナント・ブラウン頭文字は
FB
そういうことだ
Yeah, now we get it, and now we get shot. Tenoji casually produces a handgun. Motion is so smooth and natural that I don't even recognize it as a gun at first. Its heavy form gives off a chilling black luster. The muzzle is pointed at Moeka. Kado includes a built-in DLC mod patch support file type. Nice. I guess that means you can add in patches or mods that other people have built. That would be handy. Moeka and I are unarmed. We didn't plan for this. How could we have? Thought FB was Tenoji's wife, not the man himself.
一つ聞かせてください
I mean, you also thought that his wife could be here, and yet you entered the house unarmed anyways.
あなたの奥さんは
苗を産んだ時に死んだそれが
I curse silently. No wonder I've never seen her. She's been dead for years. Tenoji is FB.
そんな。いやいや。
俺への依存の次は現実逃避か
Keeping his gun trained on Moeka, the man I knew as Mr. Braun laughed scornfully. We're at an overwhelming disadvantage. I was a fool to believe the direct approach would work. Now my recklessness is going to get both of us killed. No, not both of us. I don't die here. I'm here because I time leap on the 16th. That fact is written on the fabric of this world line. So if the attractor field model is right, I can't possibly die now on the morning of the 15th. My survival is guaranteed by the same force that keeps killing my Yuri. However... Moeka has no such protection. If he dies today, it doesn't matter how. He could easily die now, right before my eyes. What am I going to do about it? Nothing. It doesn't matter. My goal is to obtain FB's cell phone and send a D-mail to Moeka in the past. That is the reason I'm here. In any case, I mustn't let his handgun scare me. No turning back now. All I can do is stay on the
あ
offensive.
なたがラウンダーの一員だったとはな。セルンの犬だったとはな。
犬か。間違っちゃいねえな。
Tanochi's like a different person today. He's composed, he doesn't get angry, even when I provoke him. You wouldn't expect a man with a gun to be so calm. Is this who he really is? Is the gruff but good-natured storekeeper just an act?
撃てば銃声で娘が目を覚ます。
だからなんだ。
娘にそんな汚れ仕事をしている姿を見られたいのか。
俺の娘は見た目で判断するような器の小さい女じゃねえんだよ。
I grind my teeth.
よりによってあなたがラウンダーとは。橋田鈴はあなたにそんなことをさせるために世話をしてやったんじゃない。
Tanochi's smile stiffens for a second. But then he slaps his knee and laughs.
なんだよおめえ。すずさんのこと知ってんのか。だったらもっと早く言ってくれよ。
Tanochi and I haven't spoken about Suzuha on this world line.
だがな。ずいぶん分かったようなこと言うじゃねえか。すずさんは10年も前に死んだんだ。その当時、岡部は8歳かそこらだろ。なのにすずさんのことが分かるってのか。
わかるさ。
I glare at Tanochi. The anger and frustration are overwhelming.
俺の主観時間では彼女はほんの数週間前までこの時代にいた。
未来を変えるのは
I can't believe this was 5 days ago that we sent Suzuha to the past. That's like, what, chapter 3 or 4?
絶対持ってくるから。そして君たちに責任を持って託すから。お願い、未来を変えてほしい。
I still remember her words vividly. Though it feels like it's been forever since she spoke them. In objective time, it's just a few days ago.
あなたのすぐ近くにいたんだよ。彼女は橋田鈴、いや天音鈴葉はセルンと戦うためにこの時代にやってきたタイムトラベラーだ。
日本。
気づかなかったのか FB。 あなたの恩人は2036年からやってきたんだよ。我がラボの一員ダルの娘だ。鈴葉はセルンを恨んでいた。なのにその鈴葉に世話になったあなたはセルンの犬か。これでは鈴葉が浮かばれないぞ。
でたらめ言ってんじゃねえよ。
Noji thrusts his gun at me. I barely managed to keep from flinching.
どうしてこんなことになった。
うるせえな。いろいろあるんだよ。
Complicated? Is that supposed to be an excuse?
本当に FB。
Moeka looks completely lost. Tanochi sighs and lowers his gun.
ああ、そうだ。
メールは
全部俺が書いた。なぜ女言葉かって？カムフラージュだよ。正体を隠すためのな。ネットでもネカマなんて腐るほどいるだろ。マジな話、大変だったんだぜ M4。メール送りすぎだタコ。おめえのくだらねえ相談に全レスしてやったんだ。感謝しろ。
Yeah, what a plot twist. But this also finally resolves the fact of why would CERN have a direct line to our building? Because they had a person working on the inside.
そんな FB は私のお母さんみたいな存在で、私は FB のためなら何だって。
And remember, this also means Mr. Braun is the one who said, "Kill my Yuri. She doesn't matter."
そう仕向けたんだよ。おめえみたいなメンヘルは簡単に依存してくれるから操りやすい。
もうやめろ。
I approach Noji, but freeze once he points the gun at me again.
なぜ連絡くれなかったの？
連絡？ああ。IBN 5100を手に入れた時点で、おめえはもう用済みだからだ。
用済み。
That was obvious. I've been telling her this whole time that FB abandoned her. Guess it wasn't real to her until she heard it from FB's own mouth.
ダイレクトメールでメンバーを募集するのは、機密性の保持の観点からするとザルだけどな。それがラウンダーのやり方だ。そして IBN5100 を見つけたメンバーは任務達成となり口封じされる。例外なく全員だ。
What is he saying?
そうすることでセルンと委員会は機密を保持しつつ安い金で俺たちみたいなはみ出し者を利用してるわけだ。 あいつらにしてみればラウンダーは全員駒さ。悲しいことにな。
Without dropping a smile, Tenoji takes his gun.
任務達成はすなわち処分確定。扱いとしては犬っつうより家畜だな。
And presses it against the side of his head. I'm going to take a second here to say this is the kind of game that will show him shooting himself if he does that. If that is not for you, please find something else to watch.
逆らえば家族が危険にさらされるんだ。大事な娘に手出しさせられねえだろ。
おい、よせ。
すずさんには悪いと思ってるよ。
But you mod here? I mean, Samus, even if you mod here, if there was something that you were not comfortable with, I could handle it if you wanted to leave. There's no pressure whatsoever. Even if it wasn't that you didn't want to watch, if you wanted to go make your game or spend time with your cats or your family, that's all totally okay by me.
ほんと、なんでこんなことになったんだろうな。
He pulls the trigger. What is that favor, Samus's?
なんで。
Brains splatter against the wall. Tenoji's massive body drops to the floor and sprawls out motionless. Have we already gotten past the point of no return for you? A dark red stain begins to spread over the tatami mats. He's dead. Tenoji is dead. Now, remember, Moeka is still fated to die today. I will not be surprised if she then shoots herself. That sound effect was not necessary. It's over, and I still don't understand what happened. Yeah, if if you're going to leave, Samus, let me know, and I will send a chat message for you when it's safe. He'd killed himself even if we hadn't confronted him. Was his death too the will of fate? Noji had completed his mission. Maybe he chose to eliminate himself rather than face stern assassins.
バカだ。あなたは。
I bite down hard on my lip. I pound my fists against the floor.
娘を残して。何勝手に死んでるんだよ。
I meant to protect her with the sacrifice, but what is Nai supposed to do now?
しかも、なんで笑いながら死ねるんだよ。
All rounders are expendable, he said. Does that mean FB was just another pawn? Is that how CERN operates? It's insanity. This can't be real. Nae, she's still asleep in the next room, blissfully unaware of her father's suicide? How do I explain this to her? Do I run? Again, strictly speaking, my purpose is to obtain FB's phone. Once I send the D-mail and change the world line, all of this will be undone. I can run like a coward and no one will know. But I'll know. I timidly slide open the door to Nai's bedroom. Looks like you'd expect. There's a red backpack hanging next to the desk, and there's a futon laid out on the floor. But Nai isn't there. The window is open. The lace curtains are waving as if to invite the fresh morning breeze inside. Where did she go? No, don't tell me CERN kidnapped her. I don't even know if she was here when we arrived. None of this makes sense. This isn't the world I know.
携帯を探そう。
I need Tenoji's phone. I'm relieved Nae isn't here. I don't have to tell her about her father's death. I find Tenoji's phone in his pants pocket. I was ready to kill him for it if I had to. Never thought he would kill himself. Now I'm looting his dead body like a hyena scavenging for scraps of meat. I make myself want to puke. I leave as soon as I have the phone, dragging the catatonic Moeka with me. We regroup with Kurisu, who is worried sick waiting outside, and hailed a taxi. I wish we hadn't spent so much time parked near Tenoji's house. Once the body's found, the police might trace the rental car back to us. Maybe we should have reported it first, but I'd rather not have to answer any questions. Besides, soon, none of this will have happened.
そう店長が
First, we take Moeka back to her apartment. There I explain to Christy what happened. Moeka didn't say a word on the way back. Now she's sitting on the floor by the entrance, staring off into space. Must have been quite a shock to hear Tenoji's, FB's, confession. The one person she trusted betrayed her. She may never recover. But were Tenoji's actions really a betrayal? I'm not quite convinced. Something felt off back there. Rounders who complete their mission are eliminated. No exceptions. That's what FB said. In that case, why wasn't Moeka killed?
なあ、萌か。もしかしたら FB はお前を生かそうとしたのかもしれない。あの人はお前を見捨てたんじゃなくて突き放して生かそうとしたのかも。
This may just be wishful thinking. We'll never know FB's true intentions. But I want to believe that Tenoji did care for her, that there was a place for Moeka somewhere. What am I doing? Why am I trying to comfort Moeka? Maybe I'm just soft.
岡部、今すぐ D メールを送るべきよ。
Chris's expression is grave.
今を逃すといろいろ面倒なことに巻き込まれるかもしれないから。
Chris had the same thought as me.
あんたの目的はマユリを救うことであってセルンへの復讐じゃないでしょ。私たちが作った タイムリープマシンのせいで犠牲が出るのは気持ちのいいことじゃない。
ああ、そうだな。
FB's phone is in my possession. No longer any reason to stay on this world line. It's only a matter of time until the police come looking for us. I should send the D-mail immediately. When I do, the present will be reconstructed. Tenoji will still be alive, and Moeka will still be in contact with FB. And at last, the IBN 5100 will return to me. I just need to think about saving Mayuri. All will be well.
ダルはもうラボに来ていると思うか？
電話してみる。
I'll send the same message I tried to send earlier from Moeka's phone. Only this time it will be from FB's phone. Moeka sees it. She'll believe it to be an order from FB. Knowing her dependence on FB, she'll obey without question. Makes me sick to be taking advantage of Moeka's vulnerabilities like this. How am I any different from FB?
あと5分くらいでラボに着くって。
We just wait until then.
ねえ、さっき店長の家でのことだけど。
After closing her phone, Krisu glances at Moeka and lowers her voice.
私、外で見張ってて、銃声が聞こえて、その直後ぐらいに、あの子の姿、見た。
あの子。
I ask, even though I already know the answer. There's only one person it could be.
なえちゃん。家の裏口から走り去っていった。呼び止めようとしたら目があったわ。
Krisu bites her lip, as if fighting an unpleasant memory. Happened right after she heard the gunshot. That's true, then Nae saw her father die. She saw her father die and ran away. There's a knock on the door. Someone's here. Who? Moeka had been squatting by the entrance, slowly lifts her head. This is wrong. The timing's too perfect. Today, Kiryu Moeka dies. This world line has already approved that fate. Has it come for her already? Moeka reaches for the doorknob.
よせ！開けるな！
I try to stop her. But too late. Moeka's already turning the doorknob. Door opens slowly, and there stands...
こんにちは。
An innocent greeting. Child's voice. Familiar. How did she find this place? How did she get here? Why did she come here? She ran away. Our eyes met. Right after I heard the gunshot. Oh, cool. Just to stab Moeka. Okay, perfect. Well, that ended pretty quickly. Nae steps up to Moeka. Moeka's body blocks my view. Next instant, Moeka drops to her knees, like a string-cut puppet. Oh, don't be a creepy child, don't be a creepy child. An innocent laugh. Hands dyed with blood. I thought my other game was for creepy girls, not this game. A cleaver in her hand.
嘘でしょ。
嘘じゃない。
Nae's lips twist into a victorious sneer. She looks straight at me, her eyes burning with intense hatred. Those aren't the eyes of a child. What's going on here? Is this really Nae?
私は許さない。
The venom in her voice chills me to the bone.
父さんを死に追いやったお前たちを絶対に許さないから。
Yes, she takes after her father. If she does that mean she's gonna, like, chop her own head off next? Don't want to see that.
私がこの手で殺してやるまで許さないから。
Chrisu and I stare in shocked silence. Neither of us can move a muscle.
岡部倫太郎、
My heart skips a beat. I feel like someone just walked over my grave.
お前は15年後に殺す。それまで怯えて待ってなさい。
Why 15 years? Nai tosses the knife away and leaves, laughing all the while. I hear the sound of her footsteps pattering down the stairs. Isn't that against ESRB? I don't know. This game for ESRB is rated mature 18 plus. That's for the shower scene. And for the mentions of repeated rape. I mean, there's other stuff in there, you know, seeing Mayuri shot in the head is pretty bad, but I think that only gave it a teen rating. It was the other two that gave it a mature rating. Yeah, that would make sense. At the very least, it has to be implied. It can't be on screen. Because in Uncle Hunter, there was a good amount of child abuse implied in that game. It just was never on screen. My entire body is shaking. I have to struggle just to move a finger. Moeka's clothes are soaked in blood. There's a gaping wound in her abdomen where Nae stabbed her. She yells for me to come to my senses. Then she takes out her phone.
桐生さんの容体を見て、私は救急車を。待って。それより先に D メールを送ってしまった方がいいのかもしれない。
Even now, Chrisu is calm. I feel an irrational surge of anger at her composure, but I know that she's right. Once I send the D-mail, this world line will be undone. I know that, but still I run to Moeka's side. So we did have a choice there to actually just send the D-mail and skip this scene, but I thought I would show the scene just for more completeness. When I lift her up in my arms, I see that her chest is already covered in blood.
Moeka!
She's my enemy. She killed Mayuri. I didn't know this scene would have eyes. I can't understand her. I can't forgive her. And yet, can't help but call her name. Because in a sense, she's a victim. Not just in a sense, she is definitely a victim too. Moeka slowly opens her eyes. Her eyes are blank and unfocused. She's fading fast. She tries to speak, but her voice catches in her throat. Getting strawberry jam all over her white shirt. I bring my ear closer to her lips.
私あなたの大切な人を殺したから
Yes, you did. Countless times. Not on this world line, but on others.
You...
The will of fate.
なさい。ごめんなさい。
Silently squeeze Moeka's hand. Moeka doesn't squeeze back. She no longer has the strength.
私にとっては FB しかいなくて、私にとっての居場所、そこだけ守るためなら殺す。恨まれて当然。ごめんなさい。
許すよ。
The words come to my lips unbidden. As soon as I speak them, I understand why. Moeka does not kill Mayuri on this world line. Even if she could, it would not happen until tomorrow. This Moeka, the one dying in my arms, is innocent. And yet even now she says, I'm sorry. How can I not answer her?
許す。
Perhaps the words are meaningless. Giving Moeka will not cure Nae's hate. Neither will Moeka's death. I don't even know if I truly mean what I'm saying. Still, I remember what Chrissy said. My goal is to save Mayuri, not avenge her. So here, now,
お前を許す。
the anguish seems to fade from Moeka's face. Her eyes slowly close. A tear slides down Moeka's cheek. Her hand slips from my grasp. She's no longer breathing. Biting my lip, I lay Moeka to rest on the floor. I place her purple phone in her hands.
岡部、
Chrissy calls to me in a weak voice.
E メールを送るべきだと思う。もう準備はできてる。
あ、
Moeka and FB are gone, but Mayuri's fate remains unchanged. The universe still demands her death.
なあ、クリスティーナ。D メールを送って。ダイバージェンスが変わったら、萌香はそこで生きていると思うか？それとも死んだままだと思うか？
あんたが言っていたアトラクタフィールド理論で考えるなら、ダイバージェンスが 1% 以上なら生きている確率は高くなる。ごめん、こんな思いやりもクソもない言い方しかできなくて。
いや、いいんだ。
I stand up. Moeka's blood clings to my hands. It won't come off even when I wipe it with a tissue. I stop trying and take out FB's phone. Nod to Krisu. Calls Daru and tells him to activate the phone wave. Name subject to change. I take one last look at Moeka's body lying there. Causality is a strange and terrifying thing. Beginning of all this, Moeka killed Mayuri. Now Moeka lies dead, Mayuri still lives. All because I changed the past. Moeka, if you're going to apologize for a sin you didn't commit, I must apologize as well. I am responsible for twisting your fate. And for twisting the fate of Tenoji Nae. I've ruined that innocent girl's life, made her something other than what she was meant to be. Is it okay just to leave her like this? Of course, if I send the D-mail now, this world line will be undone. I'm gonna quickly save. My guide says that there's no bad ending here, but I would rather not have to replay all of that if it is wrong. Nae's twisted fate will be corrected. There's no point in worrying about it. Just think about Mayuri. I shouldn't burden myself with any more problems. It's really okay? Of course it is. Send the D-mail. It's all I need to do. Why won't my fingers move? I already know what I need to do, and yet...
岡部、
さっきのあの子、様子が変じゃなかったか。
あの子ってナイちゃんのこと？
I nod.
まるで別人みたいだった。
15年後に殺すってどういう意味なんだ？
It bothers me. Does she know something? What was she implying?
岡部、気にすることない。D メールを今すぐ送って。それで何もかも解決よ。
Put FB's phone in my pocket.
見なかったことにはできない。
Naya's crime is partly my responsibility. I need to know what she meant when she promised to kill me 15 years from now.
タイムリープする。ラボに戻ろう。
Chrisu sighs, but I pretend not to hear it. Okay.
To いうか、敵って。
Chrisu glances at Moeka, then whispers into my ear.
彼女は敵じゃないの？
今は
Okay, maybe this was the extra scene
朝の7時前だな。
that I was supposed to get. And then eventually it converges to we send it.
は？そうだけど、何よ、いきなり。
After time leaping 4 hours back, I find myself in front of the station. It's right after Moeka and I met up with Chrisu after returning from Narita Airport. After this comes the Tenoji residence. Moeka is standing a few meters away, kicking the dirt in boredom. Moeka was dead just a few minutes ago, but now she's perfectly fine. I feel no surprise. I suppose I've grown accustomed to this particular facet of time travel. After all, I've seen Mayuri come back to life countless times already. There's one other thing experience has taught me. Today, Moeka and Tenoji will die. There's nothing we can do to stop it. I know it's cruel, but I didn't come back here to save them. I don't have the means to, and it isn't my problem. The problem is Nae. We arrive in front of Tenoji's house, just like we did before I time leaped. But this time, I'll wait outside with Chrisu. Moeka enters alone, expressionless as ever. While we wait outside, I tell Chrisu what's about to happen. I also tell her to wait a little while after she hears the gunshot, and then go inside and take Tenoji's phone. It feels like an eternity passes in silence, and then... Chrisu gasps. Her body goes stiff.
本当に銃声が。
I immediately look around. As Chrisu told me, I see a girl come out of the window. She walks away quickly, but at the same time taking care not to make a sound. It's not how a child acts after witnessing her father's death.
待て。
Nae looks over her shoulder. She spears me with eyes full of hatred. That alone is enough to make me shiver. It's pitiful, but a tiny little girl is making me nervous. Something is very wrong here. This Nae is like a completely different person. I want to know her true identity. That's why I time leaped instead of sending the D-mail. Nae is still running, ignoring my calls to stop. I run after her. Cool, we're now a grown man chasing after a young girl. I'm sure this will not come back to haunt us in any way, shape, or form. Out of shape though I may be, I'm still more than a match for a 12-year-old girl. The distance between us quickly shortens. Nae keeps running, occasionally looking back at me and grinding her teeth in a very unchildlike manner. Normally, a child being chased by a man will cry and scream things like, stay away, or help. This girl says nothing. The only sound is her heavy breathing.
止まれ。
I call out to her once more when she's nearly in arm's reach. Unexpectedly, Nae slows down and eventually stops to catch her breath. Even though the scene is literally still in front of her house. Looks like she's realized she can't get away. From the sound of her breathing, she must be at her limit. We're alone. Krisu and Moeka must still be at the house, and the streets are empty thanks to the Obon holidays. Perfect. I was afraid someone might report me as a child molester. If I can get what I need to know out of this strange girl who looks like Nae. I call out to her as I catch my breath.
お前は本当に天王寺苗か
Nae glares at me as she catches her breath.
お前はこれから桐生萌香を殺すつもりなんだろう
そうよ。
She punctuates her nonchalant reply with a cruel smile. That is not the face of a child.
父親の復讐か
お前と桐生萌香は父さんを殺した。
店長は自殺したんだ自分で頭を打ち抜いたそれに俺たちが行かなくてもあの男は自殺していただろう逆恨みだ
そんなのしたことじゃない。
What?
父さんが死んだ時、桐生萌香はその場にいた。でも父さんが死ぬのを止めなかった。だから許さない。お前もだ、岡部倫太郎。あの場にはいなかったけど、お前に関わらなければ父さんは死ななくて済んだ。
Wait, is she blaming me for finding the IBN 5100? How the hell was I supposed to know?
だがお前はすぐには殺さない。殺せないからな。
The tiny little girl, barely half my height, looks up at me with a smile that chills my blood.
お前を殺すのは15年後。それまでせいぜい怯え続けるんだ。
I get on my knees and grab Nae by the shoulders. I hold back my terror and meet her stare for stare. Yet this girl doesn't even flinch.
お前は誰なんだ
She isn't Tenoji Nae.
15年後に殺すってどういう意味なんだ
そのままの意味だよ。お前は15年後に私が殺した。
Killed, past tense. Killed. Why is she using past tense? Nae laughs once, a harsh and mocking sound, and leans in and whispers.
わからないのか？今こう言った？お前は誰なんだって。私は天王寺苗だよ。間違いなくな。ただし私は15年先の記憶まで思い出している。
No. Did she...
タイムリープ
Nae suddenly whips out a knife, catching me completely off guard. Oh, jeez. Nae drives the knife into the elbow of my right arm, which is grabbing her shoulder. Blood sprays onto Nae's face, but she doesn't even blink. Instead, she laughs. Just like she laughed when she killed Moeka. Intense pain brings me to my knees. For a moment I panic, but somehow I manage to convince myself that I'm fine. I won't die here, I tell myself. This world line won't accept that. Just like Nae said herself. Not that she won't kill me, she can't. If she tried, something would surely interfere.
お前を殺した時のこと教えてあげよっか。なんかレジスタンスの創始者とか言ってセルンに歯向かってたみたいだけど、私が拉致して監禁してやって考えつく限りのありとあらゆる拷問を加えてやったよ。お前は痛みに泣きわめきクソとしょんべんをまき散らしながら私に命乞いをした。実に醜かったよ、岡部倫太郎。しょうがないから最後に私自身の手で喉をかき切ってやった後、気が済むまでめった刺しにしたのよ。一体何回刺したか私でもわからないぐらいにね。それが15年後のお前が迎える最後だ。 父さんを殺したお前を待っている運命だ。
Naya grabs my arm and digs her tiny fingers into the wound. My nerves burst into flame, not just in my arm, but throughout my entire body. Pain forces the air out of my lungs in a blood-curdling scream. Can't shake off Naya's hands. Can't even move a finger against the pain.
セルンはお前の作ったタイムリープマシンを回収して15年もの間一切手をつけずに保管したままだったんだ。私はそれに目をつけたの。15年後ラウンダーになった私はお前を殺してからそれを使ってここまで戻ってきた。一度にたった48時間しか遡れない欠陥品だから随分苦労したけど。
To travel 15 years in 48-hour increments would take... Damn, I can't calculate through the pain.
単純計算で2738回だ。
2,738 leaps.
他にもいろいろあったせいで実際の回数はきっと倍以上だけどな。自分が何回タイムリープしたかなんてとっくに忘れたよ。
Now I get it. When I came to this world line, I went back to the lab after learning of Moeka's suicide. Once I got there, I found evidence someone had used the time leap machine. So that was Naya's final time leap. Naya keeps staring into my eyes as her fingers crawl deeper into my wound. I bite my lip in a desperate attempt to bear the pain. My blood won't stop flowing. It collects into a puddle and stains the asphalt dark red.
私はこの復讐のためだけに生きてきた。誰にも邪魔はさせない。絶対に桐生萌香も殺してやる。この手でだ。自殺なんてさせるもんか。そんな生ぬるい死に方で逃がしたりはしない。
勝った。それだけのために15年もの歳月を遡ってきたのかよ。
She's insane. It's Moeka and I who made her that way. Turned an innocent little girl into a creature of hatred, starved for vengeance. We stole 15 years of her life. 15 years. I can't understand what it's like to live with such hatred for so long.
たったそれだけだと。
Naya's slender fingers pry deeper into my wound, so deep I can feel her fingers against my bone.
お前たちにとってはたったそれだけかもしれないが、私にとってはお前と桐生萌香を殺すことだけが全てなんだよ。
それで萌香を殺してその後はどうするつもりだ。
その後
遡ってきた15年をもう一度やり直すのか。
そんなものに何の価値がある。価値なんてないんだ。
She does not cry. She does not sneer. Voice is flat and emotionless. She speaks these words. Nothing more I can say to this girl I destroyed. At last, Naya lets go of my arm. She looks in disgust at her hands, now covered in my blood.
お前は今は何もしなくていい。ただ怯え、後悔し続けろ、岡部倫太郎。15年後に私が迎えに行く時まで。
I'm powerless to stop her from running away. Dry laughter leaks out of my mouth. The girl's disconnected from causality, just like I am. I asked her what she would do after killing Moeka. She didn't answer. The first time she lived those 15 years, all she had was revenge. After time leaping thousands of times, she extracted that revenge. How will she live those 15 years the second time around? Will she kill me again? Will her revenge be complete then? Or will it continue forever until she forgets why? Thought squeezes my heart like a vice. Does time travel bring nothing but pain? Built a time machine out of curiosity. We were fools. If not for our meddling, CERN would not have targeted us. Mayuri would not have died. Suzuha would not have had to travel to the past. Ferris would not have lost her father twice. Lukiko would not have had to forsake her feelings for me. And Moeka would not have killed Mayuri. Chrissy runs up to me. She turns pale at the sight of my bleeding arm.
あんたその傷どうしたの？大丈夫？
Kneels in front of me, worries etched onto her face.
携帯は
持ってきたけど。
Chrissy hands me FB's phone. I take it and start typing out the mail with my left hand.
説明してよ。その傷はどうしたの？救急車呼んだ方がいい？
落ち着け。今から D メールを送る。
I appreciate the fact that it is a different cell phone.
そうか。世界線が変わればこの傷もなくなるのかな。
Yes, but who cares about my wound? Noji's death, Moeka's death, damage to Nai's soul will all be undone. That's what matters. Finish the mail and take a breath.
なあ、どうして店長は萌香を殺さなかったんだろうな。
どういうこと？
Any rounder who finds an IBN 5100 is silenced. No exceptions. That's what Tanoji said. In that case, the one who should have been eliminated first was Moeka. She found the IBN 5100 in the first place. And yet, Tanoji cut contact with her instead. When he exposed his true identity, he shot himself, not Moeka.
俺は思うんだ。やっぱり店長は萌香を助けたかったんだよ。
Perhaps that's just wishful thinking. Perhaps I'm just looking for an ounce of comfort in all this suffering. Even if that was Tanoji's intention, it's all meaningless. Moeka will die today, whether by his own hand or Nai's, it doesn't matter. However,
ベータ世界線ではそうなるといいな。
they are the enemy. Should hate them for killing Mayuri. In some sense, Tanoji, Moeka, and Nae are all just victims of my foolish experiments. Pray that they can live normal lives, at least on the Beta World line. For their sake, as well as Mayuri's, I must send this
悪い
email.
な。ない。
Once this email is sent, this world line will be undone.
お前の復讐は果たされない。
The game not trusting me sends it itself. We go up about 0.05%. The world shatters, warps, and reforms. Eventually those sensations disappear, and color gradually returns to the world. I find myself standing in the street near the lab. The burning pain in my right arm is suddenly gone. I look down. There's no wound, no blood. Instead, I'm holding a convenience store bag with 2 bottles of Dr. P. I guess it worked. I head straight for Moeka's apartment. When I get there, Moeka opens the door normally and peeks out at me. Looks fine. No signs of despair. No blood stain by the door. No knife either.
岡部君
And Samus has redeemed a 1-minute juggle. Okay. I thought you would have enough points for that. In fact, I feel like you have enough points for a couple of them, if I'm being honest. Okay, let's move the camera up a little bit. Okay. So, speaking of juggling, I was actually looking at juggling 4 balls again. I was watching an instructional video on it. And juggling 4 balls is actually not as exciting as I would really like. And I will explain the reason after this. Get that foot stall. Here we go. But yes, so let me grab a 4th ball. So, I now have 4. So the difference between juggling even-numbered balls and odd-numbered balls. So, if I have, let me go back to the 3-ball juggling. As you can see, I have 2 in this hand. I'm going to throw from my right to my left, and they're crossing over. This is called a cascade, when the balls change hands. Now, if you're to juggle with 2 balls, because I can do that, I can't do 4, they stay in the same hand. This is called a fountain. Now, 4-ball juggling, typically, means that you're juggling 2 balls in this hand, and 2 balls in this hand, and they're not swapping. So this is, I'm gonna fail this, but basically, it looks like that, but much better. With the balls not crossing over, and the 2 staying in each hand like this. That's 4-ball juggling. If you get up to 5-ball, then you cascade again. Yeah. That's 4 balls versus 5 balls. Yeah, I don't like it. I haven't really looked into the tricks of 4-ball, because, I mean, it would be cool to look at, but I don't want to like get ahead of myself and be thinking of tricks and stuff before I can even do 2 balls at the same time. As you can see, I could do 2 with this hand, 2 with this hand, and just doing them at the same time. Trying to get my left hand and right hand to throw it like to the same height, and not, and throw basically straight up and down, or like little circles either going in or out. But currently my left hand doesn't throw as high as my right hand, and like I'll throw and this one will go here, this one will go here, and then yeah. Well, I hope the stream didn't struggle for you. I was too far to see that. I can see that the stream has been doing a lot better, but still the stream as a whole still has like 13% dropped frames, which is far too many. In a normal stream, I'm usually between like 2 and 4%, and that's acceptable. But yeah, when it was really bad, we got to like 46% drop frame, basically half. I haven't looked into just going directly into 5-ball, but I feel like you should do 4 to get to 5.
少し時間を潰させてもらうぞ。
I barge into the room. The hour of Moeka's death passes with no sign of Nae. World line has changed. Moeka's right in front of me, but she sends me mail. I don't need an IBN 5100 anymore, Moeka. Feels like forever since we last conversed like this.
必要ないとは。
My supervisor told me to stop looking, Moeka.
FB からストップが。
How did you know about FB? Where did you get that information, Moeka? So FB's still alive. I feel relief, but also fear. I mustn't forget that he is my enemy. For now, however, I'm more interested in what Moeka just said. FB cancelled her mission to retrieve the IBN 5100?
任務達成はすなわち処分確定。扱いとしては犬っつうより家畜だな。
I recall his last words. Perhaps he cancelled her mission so that they wouldn't be eliminated. That's the truth, then maybe he really was trying to save Moeka.
ただ怯え 後悔し続けろ、岡部倫太郎。15年後に私が迎えに行く時まで。
I wonder what happened to Nae. I can't get that childish yet hate-filled voice out of my head. On that world line, I turned an innocent girl into a murderer. I bite my lip hard, hard enough to draw blood. I won't fear you, Nae, nor will I repent. That world line has already been undone. But how will things turn out on this new world line? There's no point thinking about it. If the plan worked, the IBN 5100 should already be back in my possession. And if that's the case, there's no need to stay on this world line either. On the way back to the lab, I stop by the Braun Tube workshop and peek in through the window. The 42-inch CRT is powered on, and Tanoji, FB, is lounging in front of it, reading the sports pages. FB is still alive. His daughter Nae has no reason to hate anyone now. I climb the stairs to the lab. There's nobody there but Krisu.
桐生萌香のアパートに行ったか？
は？
Krisu pauses her at-channel browsing session to look at me in confusion.
萌香さんのアパート？私が？行ってないけど。
そうか。
どういうことよ。
いや、言っていないならいいんだ。
I cut across the lounge and head straight for the development room. In the middle of that room sits the time leap machine. After I glance at the time leap machine, I scan the shelves. A large, familiar cardboard box. I was right. Inside the box is the IBN 5100, the legendary retro PC, stolen from me by a twist of fate. At last it has returned. The long battle is finally over. I did it. We can save Mayuri. Speaking of, Mayuri sent us a message. Haven't seen you in a while. Okarin's been acting strange lately, so Maishi didn't go to Kamima today. Are you in the lab? Maybe I'll go there now. Haven't seen you in a couple of days, you know? Usually see each other every day, so it's really lonely. I know it's only been 4 days at most, but I'm used to being with you all the time. I'm your hostage, remember? Don't let go.
Super Haka! Super Haka, come on!
I can't contain my excitement. My heart is beating like a jackhammer.
芦田ならいないわよ。コミマに行くって言ってたじゃない。
Oh, right. In that case, you won't return until evening. I can't wait that long. So I fire up the time machine and leap. As Shape and Collar return to the world, I see Dar in front of his computer, sleepily playing an Aerogay. Yeah, I was just thinking, like, imagine, like, being so impatient that to ask someone a question, you'd go back and relive 2 days worth of your life to get the answer sooner. Chris is napping on the sofa. She probably just got done with her all-nighter on the time leap machine. Mayuri's not around. She probably went to Lukako's to beg him to cosplay.
Christina!
Chrissy jerks awake.
これよりオペレーションベルダンディ最終フェーズを開始する。
My sonorous declaration earns only blank stares. Why are they so slow?
ダル IBN 5100だ。だからではない。IBN 5100があるのだよ。
そりゃあるっしょ。オカリンが持ってきたんじゃん。
そうだ、俺が持ってきた。柳林神社からな。
オカリン、今日はやけにテンション高くね。
Drinking too much soda.
ちょっとぐらい寝かせろよ。
Chrissy rubs her eyes and complains. She looks dead tired.
徹夜明けなんだから。
ダル、一つ聞くが IBN5100 の使い方について勉強はしたか？
は？まあ一応。コミマ前のクソ忙しい時期に僕って偉すぎじゃね？イギリスだったらナイトの称号もらえるレベル。
ならば今日からお前のことをさあスーパーハッカーと呼ぼう。
だが断る。
くだらない会話は自重しろ。頭が痛くなる。
Dar knows how to use the IBN 5100, then we can hack CERN right now.
全ラボ面につける。
Larry's not here, but that's actually more convenient.
長き戦いにいよいよ決着をつける時が来た。すなわちラグナロックが開始されるのだ。本作戦の概要はすなわちセルン本部の最新部に隠された極秘データを IBN5100 によるクラッキングで破壊することである。エシュロンなる卑劣な電子機器により奴らは我らの極秘情報をかすめ取った。天津さえそれをもとに我らを特定し、我らが開発した人類の夢タイムマシンの強奪をも目論んだ。研究機関でありながらその裏で時空の支配者の座を望み
It's a hive of scum and
非道
villainy.
なるゼリーマン実験を行う奴らに今こそ正義の鉄槌を下そうではないか。そして真の時空の支配者がどちらなのか奴らの目にしかと刻みつけてやれ。戦いが終わった時世界を陰で牛耳る支配構造はついに崩壊し再構成されるだろう。そう我らが望んだ混沌がついに訪れるのだ。
It's been a long time since we've had a speech like this from him.
まあ
I guess he is excited that after, like, basically months of time travel, months equivalent in time travel, he's finally made it back to where he started. Chrissy gets fed up and rises from the sofa. Yes, dang it, Chaos. 42! Perfect number of Chaos.
オカリンの心の闇は誰にもわからんでござる。
そもそも設定じゃ岡部は狂気のマッドサイエンティストじゃなかった？なのになんで正義の鉄槌とか言っちゃってるんだ。
ついカッとなってやったんじゃね？今は反省してるかも。
お前たちごちゃごちゃ言っていないで準備しろ。
準備ってなんぞ？
だから今言っただろう。セルンへのクラッキングだ。
クラッキングは良くないと思う。
なんという優等生的発言。お前は委員長か。
捕まりたいの？
そういう問題ではない。
I fight the urge to grind my teeth, that I fix Chrissy with my stare.
俺はこのターニングポイントへ到達するためにこれまで戦ってきた。今こそアルファ世界線を離脱しマユリを救う。
They will have no idea what you're talking
誰
about.
だろうと許さん。絶対にだ。
岡部
必死すぎ。
I've got good reason. Them, only half an hour has passed since the time leap machine was built. But to me, many days have passed since this ordeal began.
頼む。
I bow my head deeply.
俺の願いを聞いてくれ。
Or else Mayuri will die. In 26 years, the world will be ruled by CERN. Suzuha's sacrifice will have been for nothing. Daru claps me on the shoulder and smiles broadly and thrusts his thumb skyward.
別にあんたのためにクラッキングするんじゃないんだからね。
Why did he go Tsundere? Why?
これはひどい。
I burst out in laughter. Sir Super Haka Tsundere version. Oh gosh. Please help me, I don't have to call him that for the rest of the game. He's here to save the day. I couldn't have asked for a better right-hand man. As Daru hooks the IBN 5100 to his PC, I explain the situation one more time. Let's hope this is the last. What is your question, Samus? Did the stream cut out a bit, or are you confused? Or both? I guess it can be both.
つまり全ての元凶は俺が最初にダルに当てて送ったメールにある。それがセルンのエシュロンに捕らえられてしまったせいでラウンダーに目をつけられた。結果マユリは殺され俺たち3人
Stream cut out for it. Okay, we will go back over that. Once again, I'll probably go back a bit too far. So we had a long speech about cracking it, how the final chapter in our quest to save mankind with the Hammer of Justice. They're like, but it's illegal, stop it. And then he's like, but I've spent so long getting to this point. Now's my chance to escape and save Mayuri, and I won't let anyone get in the way. And then he bows. And then Daru's like, comes over, is like, hey man, I'll do it, but it's not like I'm doing it for you or anything, okay? And then the thing I was laughing about was, why is he the tsundere version of himself? Why? Why did he go tsundere? And yeah, that's where we are now.
セルンに拉致されタイムリープマシンは強奪される。
Some years after that, I assume, Daru and I escape and form the resistance to which Suzuha belonged.
どれだけ回避しようとしてもダメだった。世界はアトラクタフィールド理論により同じ結末へと収束してしまう。
それもし全部妄想だったらオカリンはラノベ作家になれると思うお。
Light novel. Illustrated novels targeted primarily at teenage and young adult males. Cover artwork often depicts cute girls, although light novels can deal with just about any subject matter. Recent years have seen a trend towards stories about teenage boys meeting cute girls and winding up in extraordinary circumstances.
事実だ。すべてな。マユリの死を避けるためには
And to free Suzuha's future from CERN.
アルファ世界線から脱出するしかない。これまでに歪ませた事象をすべて取り消すことでそれは可能になると俺は考えている。つまり目指すべきは俺がダルに最初の D メールを送る前のベータ世界線。そこへ到達するためエシュロンに捉えられた最初のメールデータをセルンのデータベースから削除しなくてはならないのだ。
What Suzuha said is correct. Then erasing that data will take us over 1% divergence and back to the beta world line. It was just one short email, barely 36 bytes, but it changed the course of human history. The butterfly effect.
面白いわね。
Ursu mutters as she sips her hot coffee. Looks like she's already recovered from her exhaustion.
マキセ氏は信じるん？
仮説としてはね。できれば客観的データが欲しいところだけど、それはさすがに無理だし。
Where did she get the coffee? I mean, there is a coffee pot in the background. Underneath the, like, toaster oven thing on the shelf.
安心しろ。お前が改良を施した。
It could also just be instant and then you just need to boil water.
当然でしょ。
He doesn't deny it. That's just like Krisu.
それに IBN5100 でのハッキングはもともと予定してたことだし、とにかくアクセスしてみて、もしそこにメールデータが存在していたなら岡部の言葉は事実だと証明される。
要するに考えるな、感じるんだということですね。わかります。
逆にわかんないけど。
考えるよりやってみろということだ。
Dario extracts his massive body from the space behind the desk, plops himself down on the chair and wipes away his sweat.
つなぎ終わったお。ちょっと設定いじらないとダメだけど、10分しないうちに始められる。
よし。
それにしても元凶となった最初のメールね。それってあれでしょ？ ATF で見せてもらったやつ。私が死んでたとかなんとか。
そうだ。ラジカンでお前が殺されているのを目撃した俺はダルにそれを伝えるメールを送った。ダルはたまたま電話レンジカッコ仮の実験中で放電現象が起きて。
My voice trails off. Something is telling me to stop. Fear rises in my chest. A sudden, terrible certainty that I'm missing something vital. I frantically replay the conversation in my head. We must cancel all of our changes to the timeline so far. The very first email started it all. Yeah, I think they've used it like once before. It's incredibly rare. The one that said I died or something. Return to the world line that existed before I sent the first email. An icy fist seizes my heart. I turn to Chrisu with a look of pure terror. Our eyes meet. Those eyes of hers no longer show the sharp defiance from when we first met. Is the stream still being a jerk? Okay, I'm watching it. I think we're pretty close to ending. Okay, it looks like... I don't actually know if it's Twitch's problem or if it's my internet. I can't tell. I think... It's hard to say, because, like, when the stream goes down, okay. Because at the exact same time you said that, Samus's, I saw my bitrate drop to 0, and... It might just be on Twitch's end, because, like, any time that it's been down, I've been getting all your messages, and my internet has been up and seems fine. But yes, let me replay this backlog, because it is quite important to the plot of this game. So basically, we were talking, and we were saying we have to undo the first D-mail. And then, something inside of us is like, wait, something about this is very wrong. So he's replaying it in his head. Okay. What was the first email? The one where I said that Christina died. And he's just realized that what that means is undoing that mail means killing her. And that's just where we're about to go into. Instead, they glow warmly with the light of curiosity. No worries, Samus's. If it's happening to you, it's probably happening to other people who are listening along. And if people are lurking, like, they might not be reading it, it's also just a good summary for people who are listening and don't know the Japanese. Like I would be if I was just listening. I was right. I'd missed something vital, something dire. The world line I set my sights on... The world line I set my sights on to save Mayuri. The world line upon which Suzuha staked her hope for the future. The world line I am at last poised to reach at the end of this long struggle. On that world line, Mayuri lives. On that world line, CERN fails. And on that world line, on the 8th floor of Radicon, Akise Krisu dies. And that was Chapter 9. Chapter 10 is the final chapter. we're going to cut it here.